This is Editor May just putting in a note before I start complaining to say happy birthday to my baby Yosan. Happy birthday to our Doberman. I love you so much, and I hope that all your worries and frustrations will disappear. Now back to the video. And hello everyone. Welcome to my channel, Shine Star Collections, and today is my ATEEZ unboxing. As you can see, I know other fellow YouTubers have put out first day videos for the release. I'm usually late, so that's not a surprise. And the good reason for that is because for the last, I don't know, ever since Halazia came out, I've done a comeback party, and only 1 year, it's only 1 year that I didn't do a comeback party, or excuse me, 1 era that I didn't do a comeback party, and that was Bouncy. But all the other eras, I've always done a comeback party, and it's usually been the Friday or the Saturday of, sometimes the Sunday after release. So I am always busy for ATEEZ comeback day. But a couple times I filmed going to Targets and whatnot. I was at the pop-up on Friday here in Chicago, and I'm glad I kind of didn't film something the first day because I was very aggravated and frustrated, and I didn't want anything to ruin ATEEZ's comeback day, because despite the fact that KQ is their company and Hello 82 is their distributor, and they did such a poor job with the manufacturing of this album, ATEEZ is still my old group, and I still want them to succeed. So even though I knew going in that there would be issues, we know there is no photo book, we know there is no inclusions with this album, I still wanted to support. So that day I bought 14 albums that day. I bought some with a gift card, I bought some with cash, I had a friend with me, I had her buy some. So, and I also had 2 waiting for me coming from Target. I also ordered the Digipacks, which just arrived. This is not even all of them because Yosan and Yuno are coming tomorrow. So I only got these 2 because Target said that these were out of stock, and then I guess when they got another shipment, they sent me 2 of them that I ordered, and like I said, Yuno and Yosan will be here tomorrow. So I have so many thoughts on this. First of all, I do want to preface and say that this is all speculation. This is not anything that I personally know. It's mostly my own feelings and just being around the industry when I was a heavy metal journalist and things. So it's a little bit that I know about the ins and outs of music. I know nothing about manufacturing and things like that, but I've been around enough bands to know certain things and how things are run, especially when the resources are limited. However, I feel that Hello 82 and KQ as a tandem made this release very frustrating for ATEEZ, and also made us rethink what our priorities are as far as how we would support ATEEZ. I know at first I had seen certain people just talk about how, they were so upset that there was no inclusions and no photo book or whatever. And I was saying, let's give it a chance. They're really trying to go for Hot 100 and everything. And so they probably pooled all the resources they had into putting out these singles. And because these are part of what is needed for us to get Hot 100, since we do not get radio play. So the attempt by KQ and Hello 82 was spot on, because the boys have always spoke about how they wanted to get into Billboard Hot 100. They've had two #1 Billboard albums with Golden Hour Part 2 and Will. They've been close with Outlaw. So the Billboard 200 has already been done. They've reached several heights on iTunes, and they've done a lot. And this is mostly because of the talent of these 8 guys. It is not because KQ is a fantastic entertainment company, and it is certainly not because Hello 82 is a great distributor. So, however, even though the idea was there, the execution was poor. And I have to say, and when I took my friend with me to the pop-up, I might insert some clips of us going around the pop-up or whatever, if they're decent. Here's the boys on the wall. Beautiful boys on the wall. They're so pretty. They're so pretty. If you don't stop putting your fingers in your mouth.
Right. Come on.
Stop putting your fingers in your mouth.
There's germs, okay? Like, don't do that. COVID is still a thing.
I didn't even think about it that way. I was just like, stop teasing us. That's all. Stop teasing
under the guise of don't do that.
Right, yeah, don't do that, damn it. Dang it. So pretty. Look at you
guys. He's just so handsome.
So
handsome.
Yes, he is. He is beautiful. And I do wish he would wear earrings more often.
Yeah.
I really do, because he looks really great. Just something different, just to switch it up a little, that's all. And his hair is out of his face, so I appreciate that too.
Yeah, I don't want no more bangs.
I noticed how Hello 82 hasn't, or really doesn't put any care into how they do these pop-ups. And it's not just for ATEEZ, because I also went to the pop-up for the boys as well. Didn't get any albums because they didn't have any. So, but them slapping posters on the wall and not really having any kind of interactions at the activities. There's not interactions, activities at the pop-up. Not having oversized photo cards and some of the things that we've seen at some of the other pop-ups, like say in LA. I know they have a store in LA. Same thing with Atlanta. I know they have a store in Atlanta. So of course they're gonna have bigger staff, blah blah blah. But they have teased us with opening stores and everything for quite a few months now. And to see them just kind of do a bare bones release party and not taking the time to really put some effort into the things they do is quite disappointing, especially when ATEEZ are pretty much ATEEZ and ATEEZ, more importantly ATEEZ, but both us and ATEEZ are pretty much the reason why Hello 82 is even on the map, as far as a distributor, as far as a budgeting company, and the fact that they took part in this release and made it in such poor quality is just really disappointing and frustrating. This album costing $28 is ridiculous, especially in this economy. And it just speaks to how tone deaf that Hello 82 is. As far as with how our economics are. Now, I don't have any inside information about Hello 82. I just know that Hello 82 most likely was founded in California in the U.S. I am sure that they are aware of some of the challenges that are going on for us as people that live here, and I'm sure it's also a challenge for them to try to work with KQ and get KQ to understand certain things, and so that might be part of it. But this is a thing that I believe that they should have thought through a little bit better, because the packaging is just awful. And this box is this box is like, this is all that comes in the box, and this box is in such poor quality. And somebody said it reminds them of a jewelry box. This looks like a dollar store album, and I just had a lot of thoughts to say, and I'm trying not to be so negative, because the album itself, the music that is on the album is fantastic. Is Golden Hour Part 3 one of my favorites? No. Part of the reason why is, without taking away the packaging and the appearance of the album, part of the reason why is because it's only 5 songs, actually 4.5, because one of the songs is the outro, but the outro is amazing, and I hope that they put an actual song to it. All 4 tracks, or all 5 tracks, including Lemon Drop, are amazing tracks. So the disappointment and frustration is not aimed at the boys themselves. So I just want to say that. And honestly, I didn't have a problem. I mean, I know you guys have seen plenty of unboxings, because I've looked at some of them myself, so I'm not going to really bother, spending a whole lot of time on actual unboxing. So I don't even know if we should ever even call it that, since I'm just sitting here complaining. They look fantastic. They're not the reason why this album is probably going to not garner as much excitement. And a lot of people still support it, even knowing that this release was not going to have a photo book and was not going to have that many inclusions. People still ran out and bought it. It is very possible that this release will still have a top 20 or a top 30 entry into Billboard 200. And I really do hope that we do get on Hot 100. I mean, every ATEEZ release, and not a fault of theirs, not a fault of the 8 guys at all, but every ATEEZ release has had some kind of schism attached to it. And I know a lot of people are not on Twitter and stuff, and they're not seeing some of the discourse that's on Twitter. They don't care to see some of the discourse on Twitter, and that's fine. Not everybody needs to be involved with Twitter, so that's okay. But just every release, there's always been some complaints about something, whether it's the concept photos, the promotion. A lot of these things have been absolutely valid. So it's not just, people complaining just for the heck of it. But unfortunately, with all these complaints comes people who also bring negativity to something that's supposed to be positive. K-pop is a hobby, okay, but it also is a hobby that we spend our hard-earned money on. And so I understand that people want to get more, as my bestie would say, bang for your buck. So I'm sorry, I didn't even show the other CD. Here's the other one. But I mean, like I said, you've seen these. So I mean, our words also influence other people into checking out the comebacks and not, giving it like a positive review, especially before the release, especially on the first day. I saw some of it on TikTok. People were saying, they were opening the albums and saying how horrible the quality was, which is, it's true. It's horrible. But your words do leave a mark with people. But we live in a society where we will, of course, put out our thoughts about something, especially when it's bad. Very rarely, and I'm sure there's been studies on this, very rarely do people rush to leave a great review about something, whether it's food or something else that you have bought, or a great experience. But you will rush to leave your thoughts about a bad experience. That's just human nature. That's always happened. That's with everything, outside of K-pop and in it. However, those words also leave lasting impressions on non-fans. And so saying that like the album is trash, this is that and the other, doesn't bode well for people to buy it later. Now, for people who just buy things and they don't worry about people's reviews or whatever, kudos. I'm one of those people, honestly. I've always wanted to try to give things a chance before I make my decision. It is your money. So if you decide that you're not going to buy the album because you don't like it, it doesn't have a photo book, you don't like that it has no inclusions, this is that and the other, then absolutely that is within your right to say, oh, I'm not going to buy it because it doesn't have inclusions and it's using the same concept. Now, they are 4 different kind of poses, but very slight. I even saw people saying, well, where's the laundry concept? Where's this? Where's that? And it looks like they pretty much put those concepts inside of the Korean polka albums, which also, we now found out, also has a QR code for the lore. For the diaries, so if you're a lore teeny, or if you're even vaguely interested in, I don't know where my box cutter is, it's somewhere. We're just gonna scissor these things open. Yeah, so I found out that the diaries are in the polkas. So, listen, I'm not sure, what exactly happened. Like, none of us know exactly what happened. There could have been complete snafus with manufacturing. Somebody said on Twitter that, like, the reason why the albums could be like this is because there was a manufacturing problem. There's delays for the Europe albums. They're not getting their albums until this coming week, I guess. They're not able to buy these albums. And I'm sure that, we don't know all the inner workings, especially how KQ works. We don't know, what kind of time schedule they were on. And especially with the tariffs, too. The tariffs have left, have made things problematic for companies, whether it's, K-pop companies or not. Everything that is surrounding the tariffs, all the uncertainty and everything has thrown things in the lurch. But by Hello 82 being a company that's based in the U.S., the albums, from what I believe, didn't come from Korea. So they don't have, I don't have, of course, I don't have the plastic on it. You can see that. But usually, with prior albums, I will, let me just grab one. With prior albums, that it has the Comcast sticker on it. So the Comcast sticker means it came from Korea. So this album, by it not having the Comcast sticker on it, means that most likely it was not made in Korea. Okay? So, by it not being made in Korea means, or not having the Comcast sticker means that it wasn't made overseas. So most likely this album was made here in the U.S. Hello 82 is ATEEZ's distributor, unfortunately. So why did we make an album like this? Why did we make an album that is basically looks like something that we could get from Dollar Tree? For the exception of the face cards inside, why do we have something that looks like, it's in piss poor quality, and you see how the cardboard is coming apart and all this? I'm sorry, I don't want to really talk long because this is nothing but negative Nelly stuff, and so I really apologize, but I just had so many thoughts that I had to get out there, and I really hope that somebody from KQ would just find my video and just say, you know what, she's right, we fucked up. Which most likely will not happen. So I'm not banking on that. But even only they know what happens. However, when Hello 82 discovered that they were not going to have the European releases on time, they put out a blast saying that, I'm sorry, there's going to be delay with the European albums. Please, be patient, and we'll be able to get them to you the following week. If there was a snafu with how these albums were made, I think that KQ and Hello 82 owe us not only an apology, but owe us a Cliff Notes version of why these albums look so bad. And like I said, considering that we are in the economy we're in, people just mindlessly spending, like I spent over, I spent over $200 on Friday on these. And like I said, I bought 6 albums. My friend bought 2 more for me, so I had 8 albums. I bought some in cash. I bought some on my card. And then I turned around and went to Target and bought a gift card so I could buy more. So even knowing everything that was going on, I still went out and did, what I could do to help ATEEZ to, reach their goals or whatever. And because I went and spent that money that I truly could have spent, or saved towards, going on tour next month, I believe they owe me an apology. I believe they owe us they owe us a statement to say, why are these albums like this? Why are you basically putting out a product like this with our beautiful boys' faces on it and having this represent them? The difference between albums is staggering. And it's basically saying, well, you're gonna buy it anyway, so we really don't care that how the album looks. That's what you're saying. And you're actually right, because we bought it. We bought it because we wanted to support them. And KQ and Hello 82 know that. And that's the reason why they did not put any care into this album. And until, you come out with a statement saying why these albums look like they're from the dollar store, this is the thought that's going out there on TikTok, the thought that's going out there on Twitter, and probably somewhere on Instagram too, because people are disappointed with how it looks. And it's, I'm going to give KQ some kudos for trying something different, for, like I said, trying to get the Hot 100 for them. It's not a guarantee. And we all know, for those of you who pay attention, we all know that Billboard does everything they possibly can to make sure that Korean groups do not get high charting. If we're not part of, we're not part of the big four, or ATEEZ is not part of the big four. So that's the reason why it's harder for them to chart on these different platforms. Even their own platform in Korea, it's hard. The amount of work that some ATEEZ, including me, put into streaming on foreign apps when we don't know an ounce of Korean is it's a lot of work, and I just feel like, sorry, that was my clock that went off. So I just feel like that they should really, really take the time to just tell us and give us the reason why we got such poor quality albums. I don't even know. That was distracting. So I was on a roll, and then and then the clock went off. So I'm not even sure that meshed with what I said before the clock went off. So I apologize. But I think you get the gist by now. So, sorry for that. I mean, I really had to just put my thoughts out there, but I'm gonna leave it alone for right now, because regardless of how the album looks, they look amazing. The album is fantastic. It's not my favorite Golden Hour album. Golden Hour Part 2 is my favorite Golden Hour album, just because of, the songs themselves. And Selfish Waltz is probably, it's probably made its way. I know it's definitely in my top 10. I'm not sure if it's in my top 5 or not, but it's it's definitely up there. And Lemon Drop is one of my favorite title tracks for ATEEZ, somewhere in the top 10, top 15, because it's just that kind of vibe. And Masterpiece is fun. I love Masterpiece. My favorite song on the album is Now This House Ain't a Home. I loved just the, it's melancholy, it's sad or whatever. When you read the lyrics, it's really sad. But the song is just so well done. And even though it's kind of like, it reminds me of one of those very emo songs that I used to listen to in the 90s. Just something that like really gets you thinking. At the end of it, you might start crying. I haven't cried with it, but what I'm getting. It's like, it's a very emotional song. And I just really love it. And of course, I love hearing Yeosang just belt and sing. His voice on the chorus and him harmonizing with Sonny is just, it's amazing. So, and I will not get into the whole thing about Yeosang's lines and Golden Hour, but just to say, I do agree, also being Yeosang biased, that it is a disappointment as well. But there is enough discourse out there for you to follow on Twitter and everything for you to get into that. So I will not. But yes, I am disappointed that he did not have not too many lines in Lemon Drop. I also love Castle. When I heard the the track previews, Castle and Now This House Ain't a Home, are the ones that really like stuck to me, and I was very right that I love both of those songs. So it probably would be Now This House Ain't a Home, then Lemon Drop, and then probably Castle. Um, and even though I absolutely adore Masterpiece, it's probably my fourth favorite track, just, from personal taste. I mean, I love a good rump shaking album. Rump shaking song, rather. But it's not really my thing. But it's fun. And so I don't take that away at all from ATEEZ or ATEEZ. If, Masterpiece is your favorite song, it's great. That's fine because that's your personal taste. But my favorite song is Now This House Ain't a Home. So, okay. And I'm really sorry for being negative, but I feel like that I wanted to put my thoughts out there because A, as a consumer, B, as an ATEEZ, C, as somebody who really loves ATEEZ and really wants to see them succeed. KQ's idea for what they did to try to get ATEEZ on Hot 100 was stunning. The idea was stunning. Just the execution was bad. That's all. So KQ, kudos for trying something different. Absolutely. You have to try something different, and when it doesn't work, you move on to something else and try to, do something better next time. And so I'm asking KQ to definitely not do this again. I really wish that they would get rid of box packaging altogether, because I hate box packaging. I feel like that, like I was telling people yesterday at the event, I feel like that they could have done something similar to this if you were not going to give us a photo book. And the best example that I can think of, and I know that some ATEEZ are going to roll their eyes at this, Stray Kids 8. I'll put a picture up here. The Stray Kids 8 album was the accordion version. The accordion version of the album was a booklet, and it had fold-out postcards of, well, for them, it was, the members. So, of course, I had Changbin. So, it had 9 postcards of Changbin. And I think on the back side of it, it had, the songs or the lyrics or whatever. Since you weren't giving us, but the Hello 82 photo cards, put those Hello 82 photo cards in there, along with the Polaroid and, the card sticker, and call it a day. And that would have been so much better. And would people have been disappointed? Sure. But we don't have this dollar store box. That thing is not really sturdy either. But it's a lot better than this. And again, I know that, Stray Kids comes from a bigger company. So maybe, possibly, because they come from a bigger company, there's more resources, namely money, to do something like that. But we also know how much money the Hello 82 has been pulling in just from ATEEZ releases. And now that they're starting to do these releases for other groups, like the Boys, for example, P1 Harmony, we know that they have the resources to do better. We do. So, if there was a mistake, they need to say why these albums look like this. So, okay. I'm going to show you what I got for inclusions. These are, let me just move the boxes, because these things are ugly. I shouldn't say that. They're ugly, but the colors in the front are beautiful. So, got, they're all out of order, I'm sorry. And that was another thing, was the a lot of ATEEZ that were at the pop-up were complaining because of the sorting of the photo cards, the inclusions. A lot of the photo cards, a lot of people were pulling the very same photo cards out of albums, and it didn't matter if it was Target or the pop-up, or, you know, I didn't go to Barnes and Noble, and I didn't order Walmart albums, so I have no idea how the sorting was, but I'm assuming that the sorting was the same across the board, since Hole 82 is responsible for all of these. I mean, you know, the Polaroids, they look fantastic, of course, because the face cards are not declining, of course. Do we want to have, like, you know, what did I say? I bought 12 albums that day, and I actually had 2 waiting for me, so I have 14 albums, and I basically get almost the same, you know, Polaroids. I have 2 of Hanjun, 2 of Yuno, and then I have the 4 other members, you know, so I'm missing 2 members. So there's that. And then with the cards, with some of the cards I've already sold away already, because I got dupes of those too, and so I did manage to sell some of my dupes. Oh, here we go. I forgot I already put them in a box. When I was at the pop-up that day, a lot of people were saying that they did not pull any certain members. Like, people were looking for Mingi, they were looking for Seonghwa, and nobody pulled a lot of these members. So, yeah, and you know, we're used to sorting being kind of suspect, because when we get the albums from KQ, we know that, you know, we've gotten dupes of some of the albums. So, in some of the albums, I mean, that's not a new problem, but it's a reoccurring one, and it's just disappointing. That's all. It's disappointing. So I have for the card stickers, I got these, and then for the actual cards, I had these. Now you know I love him, so this card they gave out as part of, if you had ATEEZ Lemon Drop on your playlist, they gave you this card at the pop-up. So I do have, you know, I did pull him. Yay for me. I think, let's see, because I already put them in member order, so these are really out of order. I'm sorry about that. So I have, you know, for this one, this is the tropical version that I pulled. And then I also pulled his cherry card, which I absolutely adore. These are going to be difficult regardless, but because of the album quality, a lot of these cards, some of these cards I've already seen on Mercari, and they're going for about $40. That's what I saw. Now I'm sure some of them might be more now, but you know, that depends on the person. I forgot there's another one because I had Woo Young already, and that's for the stylist version. So we got Woo Young here. San loved me again this comeback. So a lot of the cards that I pulled for exclusives, I pulled San. I do want to trade these San cards for Seonghwa only, but if I cannot get Seonghwa, I'm going to keep them because they're adorable. adorable. And he looks adorable. I did not pull many Sungwa, but I pulled dupes of this card. So I think this card is in here again somewhere. I also pulled dupes of this card. This is the Angie card. I'm sorry, I should say what these are. This is the Chew card. So this is essentially the US exclusive. So I will collect OTA of these. And then this is the Angie card, which is so adorable. It is adorable. Here is the Nervous card, which is so cute. So cute. And I really love this. That's. And then we have this card, a tropical card. I actually traded for this. I think I got, yeah, my friend that was with me had Mengi and she got Yosan, so we traded. So that's my Yosani. Hopefully I will be able to find Sunwas. Hopefully. And I also got his Silas card. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, there's my other dupe for the Chew card. So these are, I put them in order for, and Uno should be in there too, but I put all 4 Unos together to show you how many Unos I got. But I do have the some of the other members for that. And then this. Okay. So the other cards, the only card that I had that I sold was Hongjun's Angie card. So I did have that and I sold that. So that's why I thought I pulled it twice. I guess I didn't. I don't see it. Oh wait, hold on. Is this it? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I did pull 2 of them. So there's Hanjun's Angie card right there. And then I also have the Jungkook Nervous card, which is so cute. So I had them in a little container, so I kind of just forgot what I had. So I have a mess up here as usual, but that's all the inclusions I got. Like I said, it's not a new thing to pull dupes or whatever, but the good thing is I do almost have all of these. So what am I missing? I am missing Hanjun and San. Yes, Hanjun and San for these. So I have all of these, which is good. I do have some more albums coming from what's that place? Eve Pink. Because Eve Pink did have let's try to make this neater. Eve Pink did have the albums, the Hello 82 versions, and so I was able to buy 4 from them. So I have 4 more coming, and I have no, that's it. No, yeah, and then of course Yosan's digipacks. I am thinking of getting a couple of more of the albums, if because I saw the preview for the Barnes and Noble album. The card with the rubber chicken is so cute, and I think that's what Hello 82 was banking on. They knew this album looked terrible, and so they wanted to make sure that the cards were really great, and that would force us to buy more. So they were at least right on that. As we had to think about like, oh, I want to buy this before a certain card or whatever, so that might have you actually go out and buy it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Again, I'm sorry that I was really negative about this, but I just really had to put my thoughts out there. like I said, I do appreciate KQ trying to do something different, trying to do something where it is possible for the boys to get on Billboard Hot 100, but the execution of this album was just poor. And I really wish they just would have put a little bit more thought into it. And, like, you know, thought about us as USA Teeny. A lot of us are interested in the lore. It seemed like to me that it wouldn't have been a problem for you to somehow include the lore on this album somewhere. Now, a friend of mine on Twitter said that it's interesting that the CD is actually a CDR. So a lot of people don't own CD players on their computers or whatever. But I will put mine into a CD player and see if anything comes up. Maybe the lore is on the CD. Who knows? I doubt it, but who knows? But I would have loved for them to do something where we could see the lore, see the diaries, because I'm very interested in finding out what happened to the storyline. But because I did not buy polkas, I don't have it. But it is on Twitter. So now I have to redo the Twitter thing, but okay, whatever. But yeah, execution poor. A+ for effort, for trying to do something different. Execution poor, very poor. So I will end this video here. I'd like to thank you for, this is not even an unboxing, this is a complaint section. That's what this is. This is a complaint section. But it is what it is. I mean, you know, it's the news is already out there that this album is of poor quality. You know, it's all over the interwebs. So I won't be the first one to complain about the quality. I also won't be the last one. So I'm sure that more ATEEZ would like to voice how they feel about the quality of the album. But again, we're in it for the music, right? So if you can, my plea is to, if you're not going to buy these, which is okay because they cost $27, $28. Target, I'm not sure if Target's still doing this, but Target was doing a buy one get one, which was great. And that's why I did buy 4 albums from Target the other day, because of the buy one get one 50 off if you have Target Circle. So if you can afford to buy these, please do. I'm not sure what stock is looking like. Stock has always been an issue with the ATEEZ albums. So if your local Target has them, and if you can buy them, please do, so we can at least get them a nice position on Billboard 200. I think we have until tomorrow to get digital versions for it to count, and we have until Thursday night for physicals. So if you can buy those, please do. But it's more importantly to get these. If you can find them in your local Target, because I don't think Walmart or Barnes & Noble, is Barnes & Noble selling these? Maybe Barnes & Noble might be selling these. I'm not sure. I just know for sure that Target has them. These are $3.99. So if you can afford to at least buy 4 of these at the $3.99 price, and like I said, if Target is still running the Target buy one get one for 50% off, please do. This will help them get on Hot 100. Please, please, please do this. If you cannot do that, you can also buy the songs digitally. If you're streaming on Stationhead, then you can buy the album, the whole album on Stationhead. If you're on the ATEEZ Stationhead, there is a bar there that you can actually buy the album for. I believe it was $5.49, because I also bought a digital copy. If you can buy it from iTunes, buy it from iTunes, buy Lemon Drop separately, and then you can buy all the rest of the tracks separately. They're $1.29. I did it last night myself. If you can buy it from Amazon, buy it from Amazon. Please, please, please. And it's so weird that like I come out with complaints, but I'm telling you to go buy it, because the reason why we want to go buy it is so that we can help the boys get on Billboard 200. A good position, Billboard 200. I doubt it's going to be higher than probably 20. If it's higher than 20, I'll be ecstatic, okay? But that clearly was not their goal, this comeback. Their goal this comeback is Hot 100. So if you need information on how you can, help get on Hot 100 other than what I've said, put your comments down below. I'm going to hurry up and put this up so that hopefully I can get the word out to help them get on Hot 100, to help towards getting their goals, because their goal was to get Hot 100, the 8 boys themselves. So please do what you can. And again, like I said, if you need help with something, please ask. I am very willing to help. And the same thing with Korean. I always tell you about streaming on Bugs if you can, or Genie. We can only really do Bugs and Genie as international ATEEZ. So do what you can to help these boys achieve their goals. Okay, I'm going to end it right here. Thank you so much for joining me for this complaint unboxing. this complaint unboxing for ATEEZ Golden Hour Part 3. Bottom line, the music is top tier. Again, like I said, not one of my favorite albums yet. There's my clock going off again. But I know it's still fantastic. It's an ATEEZ album. They're not going to disappoint you musically. Just put that out. Just remember that. They're not going to disappoint you musically. It might not be your favorite, might not be your the best song that you ever heard, but you're not going to say it's a bad song. It's just, it might not be your taste, but it's not a bad song. So just remember that. Thank you so much for joining me. Like and subscribe if you want to, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.